Airbnb hosts, listen up. This scenario could directly impact your rental business. As an Airbnb host, you pour your heart into every detail of your rental. You carefully select the perfect decor, ensure the amenities are top-notch, and craft a listing that stands out from the competition. The design is stylish, the photos are top-notch, and your listing has finally gone live. You start getting bookings and everything seems to be going great until one day an unexpected email from your local government arrives in your inbox. You open it expecting routine information, but instead it's a notice that stops you in your tracks. Your permit application has been denied. Your listing is now at risk of being taken down. Why? Because your property is missing one simple requirement that many hosts overlook: a landline. Yes, you heard that right. Many cities and countries across the US now require short-term rental properties to have a registered landline as part of their permit process. If you don't have one, you could face fines, permit denials, or even have your listing shut down. But here's the good news. This isn't as complicated as it sounds, and I've got a simple, modern, low-cost solution that will not only keep you compliant, but will also make your rental safer and more appealing to guests. Most Airbnb hosts assume that a cell phone is enough for emergencies. I mean, everyone has one, right? But here's the problem. Relying on mobile phones for emergency calls is a huge risk. Let's break it down. First, 911 calls from cell phones don't always provide an accurate location. If a guest calls for help, responders might not get the right address, especially in apartment buildings or rural areas. Second, guests may not always have a cell service. Whether they're in a remote cabin, a basement level unit, or a storm knocks out reception, their phone might not work when they most need it. And third, emergencies don't wait for good timing. A guest's phone could be dead, misplaced, or just out of reach when they need to call 911. That's why cities across the US are making landlines a legal requirement for short-term rental permits. It's already the law in places like Florida, Placer County, California, Ray-Ban County, Georgia, and even Garland, Texas, which just added this requirement last year. And more cities are following suit. So if you're running an Airbnb without a landline, you could be breaking laws without even realizing it. And most hosts don't find out until it's too late. That means permit delays, fines, or worse, an emergency where guests couldn't reach 911. So what's the solution? That's where today's sponsor, Ooma, comes in. Ooma is a modern internet-based phone service designed to meet these new legal requirements without the hassle of traditional landlines. It's super easy to install, requires no complicated wiring, and aside from local taxes and fees, the phone service itself is free. And here's the best part: 911 calls from Ooma automatically send emergency responders to your property's exact registered address. That means no GPS errors, no confusion, and no wasted time. Plus, if you turn on Ooma's 911 alerts feature, you'll be able to get an instant notification anytime a guest dials 911 from your property. So even if you're miles away, you'll know what's happening in real time. Now, before I show you their stylish phone bundles you can choose from, I want to emphasize why this is so important. Every year in the US, over 240 million calls are made to 911, and more than 80% of those come from cell phones. But here's the problem: mobile calls don't always provide precise location data. A report from the Federal Communications Commission confirms that wireless 911 calls can result in inaccurate location tracking, meaning emergency responders might be sent hundreds of feet away from the actual location, or even to the wrong building altogether. Now imagine a scenario where this could be life-threatening. A guest suffers a cardiac arrest in the middle of the night. Every minute without CPR decreases survival rates by 7 to 10%. If they struggle to get a call through, or emergency services can't pinpoint the exact property, it could be the difference between life and death. In another scenario, let's say a fire breaks out and guests are in a panic. With bad cell reception, a dead phone battery, or even just the chaos of the moment, calling 911 could be delayed. A tragic real-life example happened in Canada in 2008. A family dialed 911 in a desperate attempt to get an ambulance for their toddler who happened to stop breathing. But because they were using a cell phone without a proper registered location, the emergency call was routed 2,500 miles away to Ontario instead of their actual address. Realized something was wrong, the parents ran to the neighbor's house and used the landline to call 911 again. But by the time the first responders arrived, it was too late. This devastating incident highlights why many cities and counties are now requiring landlines for short-term rentals. And it's not just about emergencies. One Airbnb host shared that she's struggled to reach her guests through Airbnb messaging and their cell phones. But with Uma's modern internet-based phone service in place, she now has a direct, reliable way to contact them whenever needed. So now that you understand why having a dedicated phone is so important, let's talk about what that actually looks like in your Airbnb. Because here's the thing, a landline doesn't always have to be an eyesore or feel outdated. Uma offers modern, sleek phone options that fit seamlessly into any short-term rental. And if you're looking for something that adds both function and style, they even have retro-inspired designs that will make your property more unique. In fact, in my Pittsburgh Airbnb, I have Uma's retro style phone, and it's one of my favorite additions to the space. It blends function with design, offering guests a reliable emergency while doubling as a stylish accent piece. Guests have told me that they love it because it adds a touch of nostalgia, but at the same time, it's fully modern and internet-based. And the best part, it's incredibly easy to install. No technicians, no complicated wiring, just plug it into your internet and you're done. Most people have it set up and running in under 15 minutes. So with Uma, you're not just meeting regulations, you're making your Airbnb safer, more stylish, and more guest-friendly all in one step. And right now you can save $30 when you use the link in the description below. Click the link to get started. If this video helps you out, give it a like. It really helps more Airbnb hosts see this info. And if you want more tips on making your short-term rental safer, smarter, and more profitable, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you in the next video.